Hi friends, this is Mangalaprathaban from India talking about teacher perception. The teacher perception determines the style of teaching and strategizing the classroom and creating innovative task materials or task handouts. In addition to it, helping the learners to come up with new learning strategies or finding learning solutions. Teacher perception plays a vital role in shaping all these that I have already mentioned to you. How does a teacher depend on the perceptions that he or she has possibly acquired over the period of time? It depends on the teaching experience of the teacher and also the learning experience. So I would say the teacher carries with her or him the learning experience that this person has, also what you call the kind of teaching experience that this person has acquired over a period of time. So teacher perception uh, in a way determines the success of the learning progress or the success of the learning goals of a learner. So we will have to really work on the teacher perception and the teacher belief system in a big way if we want to really achieve something concrete in terms of learning progress. So when we want to actualize the learner goals, if we want to really work on actualizing or materializing the learner goals, we will have to ensure that teacher perceptions are quite optimistic. Teacher perceptions could be directed towards actualizing simple goals. In other words, I would say if you take a larger goal, it could be compartmentalized or categorized into micro tasks. So you will have to work on micro tasks on a day-to-day basis to achieve the largest goal, or rather the greater learner aim, or the learning progress. So teachers play a very significant role in this regard. Teacher perception, when you talk about teacher perception, you'll have to really think about how teacher has got a certain mental picture of the learner's level or the learner learning capacity, learner learning time, and the learner's learning style, and the learner materials that he or she makes use of, and the kind of learning tasks that he or she provides it. So these are things that we have to really keep in mind before we go further and explore teacher perception, because teacher perception is essentially all about the teacher's perspective on how learning has been a process conditioned by the learning materials, learning environment, and the learner motivation and specific learning goals of the learners. And the learning experience of the teacher also determines the exposure of varieties of personalities. So every learner has a unique personality. I've been telling this several times. So we cannot say all the learners will use one particular model of learning. That is why I say the classroom has to be a democratic space of experimenting with various models of learning, various strategies of learning, various techniques of learning, etc. So the teacher has to give access to various groupings so that he or she could also identify visual learners and ask them to experiment with watching videos or looking at posters or diagrams, and then make them learn something new. But that cannot be the case with the auditory learners. The auditory learners could be asked to listen to podcasts or a radio broadcast or anything else, even listening to a lecture or listening to a narration, etc. So these are going to help the auditory learners to learn things effectively. But that is that happening all the time? So that's something that we have to really ask ourselves. And do we do this all the time? No. So we will have to identify and streamline the ways and means of making learners learn things faster and better by categorizing them. That is one way. Another way I would say is the teacher perception on learners in a way helps him or her to decide the kind of learning goals that he or she will integrate with her task handouts or even learning materials. Now, I do see teacher as a course designer. Because the course design or development is absolutely in the hands of a teacher who personalizes the classroom. In other words, the teacher has all the strategies, irrespective of the learning materials that he or she has, to customize the process of learning. But if a teacher is going to be a course designer or a developer, the teacher has a larger responsibility of developing tasks or courses in accordance with the learner needs. The learner's customized learning solutions. So the teacher could personalize this process, make this process more effective and useful for the learner to learn. For example, in a context where I've been teaching English, I've seen learners coming from regional medium classes. Most of them are Tamil medium students. They find it difficult to master grammar, vocabulary, etc. So what do I do with them? I use bilingual method sometimes. I do make sure that they understand the rudimentary basics of grammar, understand the basics of tenses, applications of tenses, and make them acquire a vocabulary of about 10,000 words. Remember, they do translate everything, but translation does not mean mastery of another language. It would sometimes end up in translation all the time. But I do help them to overcome that, make them think in the target language, help them to overcome self-doubt, fear, hesitation, or reticence. All this could be overcome. So once you help them to think in the target language, it is easy for them to master the communication skills in that language. These are simple strategies that I make use of. So please think about teacher perceptions, because teacher perceptions could alter the strategic teaching that the teacher could possibly make use of in the classroom. That is how we can make our classrooms more relevant to our students, can make more number of successful learners to acquire better things. I hope I've done the best. At this moment, I'll come up with some more videos related to teacher perception and teacher belief systems in future. If you have any questions or if you want to share your suggestions, etc., you're free to write to me. You can write to me at www.mangalaprathaban.com. That is MANGALAPRATHABAN.com. I wish you all success. Hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.